What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dent Digest Live Show. I've got my good old buddy Manny. What's going on, Manny?
Yo, what's up, party people?
How are you? How's your week?
Honestly, very excited for today's show. Just been looking forward to it all week, man. Really excited.
I am too. The phone the last 2 days has been absolutely off the hook. They're like, oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. And I'm like, so the last 99 sucked? I mean, what's going on? I know it's Robert Castillo, but Jesus, come on.
Hey, he's the legend, though. You know what I mean? For me, it's like someone who has seen our industry just, grow, transition from pagers to cell phones to social media. You know what I mean?
You're right. You're
legend.
Right.
Legend.
And I can tell you, a perfect example. I met him at MTE, and then I had what's it called? I had the ARC certification done, and through that process, and it's just nice to have good people that are good people in our industry.
Yeah. And a lot of the times we think like, oh, older guy, he's been in the industry, he probably can't push. Robert can't push. Robert can't push, boy. So excited. Shout out to everyone in the house watching the show today. Make sure you guys share it so everyone out there could watch the show today. What's up, Jesse? What's up, Danny?
So
Joshua.
How's the weather been there?
Oh man, weather's good. You know what? It's actually been kind of cloudy, overcast, been kind of chilly, which is kind of weird for California, especially around this month.
We've got your weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 90, 91 or 92 here today. Started the day at 80 degrees. I don't care. I'm good. I'm in this guy. I hate the snow and the cold weather. I can't, you get out of bed. You're like, oh man, I hurt here. 100 degrees, 100% humidity. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You got a little breeze. Like today, it felt like we were on the water. A little breeze going through. I was like, man, this is fantastic. So, and I hope you guys watched it. Anson's open house looked like it was epic.
Oh yeah, man. I so wish I would have been there.
It's I don't know. It looked really, really good. I talked to Craig today. They sent me a package. It's so heavy, I can't really pick it up. So next episode, next week, which is my 100th show.
Dang!
I'm going to show this thing to you because it's kind of cool.
That is awesome. How do you feel about that, Ryan?
It's pretty cool, dude. Like I said, I can't believe you poor bastards watch this show every week. But it's been fun. A lot of good shows and some good information, and it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But
Danny's is on the comment. He was there.
He was there. I know. Danny doesn't miss anything. Danny's one of those dudes that is, and if you don't know Danny Espinal, you need to get to know him because he's another one of those dudes that just are about the industry and
100%.
Really, really quality conversations when you talk to him, and another really good dude. So if you don't know him, you need to check him out because he's just a good guy. But I've got some stuff here I need to go over. We need to get the show on the road because I don't know if an hour is going to be enough with Robert because there's going to be so much bombs being dropped. So So I'm going to go through some tools. We got the first one here.
What you got?
Crap. That's crap.
Hey, you should try it now that you have that little nice hot weather down there. You should try it now.
It's crap. So
I told you about. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan. I said I told you about.
You got packages from Dent Sorcerer with some glue in there. I see.
Oh yeah. But I was gonna tell you, he sent me the good stuff. That free package. I think that was a bad batch.
Oh, that's
all respect to Anson. probably hating on me right now, but I just think that was a bad batch. They're like, send them out for free.
That's what it is. It's no good. It's just paperweight. So I haven't tried these. There's a bunch of stuff here I haven't tried yet, but I wanted to bring them on. It's the short, what do you say, phenolic or phalolic? I can't even say the word, but it's their little resin tips that Anson has. And they're a short version, so the tips are smaller. So I'm excited about these. I just started using these. I have the full-size ones, and I really like the way they push.
Really?
It's not like a metal tip, but it's not like a soft tip. It pushes really, really nice, and it doesn't slide.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get that R4 on there, and it's sliding around a little bit. They also came out with a round tip, which looks really good. You can use this for blending. You can use it for knocking down or pushing.
So what do you call that material?
It's a resin-based. I can't say the name. Phalolic? I don't know. I can't even say it. Look at that. The uneducated guy up here talking about tips.
See, I had a bad experience with some of the old tips that were being made out of like that similar material. And I got to get over that fear because I had a bad experience with one of those tips.
You need to get over that fear because I'll tell you, it's a pretty good tip, dude. I've been using it ever since. Not the new short ones that I have here, but it's a pretty good tip. I was very, very impressed.
All right.
Titanium ball. I like these ball tips. These are from Anson also. It's made out of titanium, screw on, just ball. You can use it for blending. You can use it for pushing. Kind of universal.
You know, I'll tell you this. So those big balls like that, those are really good for.
What did you just say?
I said those big ball tips like that. Those are good for like motorcycle tanks.
They're really good. Really good. Really, really good.
Any ball style tip, that's what I mainly use them for, motorcycle tanks.
I brought this on the other day, and I want to give it its final thing. It is the BB tip.
Oh.
The Dent Wizard, and, you know, I'm just a fan of the Dent Wiz. So this is the shorter version I got from A1. Anson has a longer version, stainless. Freaking awesome. This is my everyday go-to start door tool now. You can either put a cherry tip on the end or just use it straight on. It doesn't really make a real hard push. Kind of pushes like a soft tip all the time, but really, really good, dude. You got to get one of these. I'm telling you.
I do because I do find myself putting on the tip that has that same style.
Yeah.
On my regular rods, and those are perfect for like bodyline dents and too. Ooh,
you excited about this? You excited? It's just something new. It's something new. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you
Is
sure?
Is that out of that picture that I posted today?
It is. It is. It is. It is. Something new. Bam.
Wow.
Glexo Magic. Something new, guys. So, give you a little rundown. Let me just tell you one thing about Glexo. I can give it to them. I'm a huge cold glue guy. I love their products. Their packaging kills everybody in the industry. Yeah. There's no packaging. This box is something like from Apple, right? It's soft touch, opens from the bottom.
Wow, look at that.
Printed on the face, right? The instructions are on the back. You open it up. Now, I do not believe this little light will come with their version. I don't know if it's an option. I'm not 100%. This is a UV light. It's like a black light. And what it does is, so this material, you take this material, you open it up. It only lasts 12 months. And you put it on your tips, on your tools, right? You kind of get it on here, put it on here with this. Put it on here. And then you're going to use the light, and it dries it. So the light's going to dry it, right? And let me tell you, I haven't pushed with it. So I layered this up right before the show today. I'm going to push with it tomorrow. It's hard. It's rock hard, but it's rubbery at the same time. And it gives you a soft push. There's a video that's going to be launched here soon, and you just cut it off. You don't use a chemical. You literally just use a knife and just pull it off, and it'll come off the end. But what they're really pushing for this is to where you don't scratch the backside. Obviously, I globbed this on so you guys could see it on the camera, because if I put a little bit on the end, you wouldn't be able to. but it'll act like a soft tip in pushing. You can put it on your blending hammers. You can put it on everything. On tips, if you just wanted to dip a tip, you know, kind of like you have with your Dentcraft when you wear through your Dentcraft stuff. This may be a good, you know, opportunity for that. So it's something new that just got released. I don't think it's fully out yet, but we're running some tests on it. And Olga said, let's talk about it since Manny posted the picture. But
by the way, if anyone doesn't know, I wasn't supposed to share that picture. Ryan texted me. He said, don't post this picture. And that's the first thing I did. But I mean, I was excited just to even know what it was.
So it's something new. We haven't tried it a whole lot. They've been testing it over there for quite a while, but it's supposed to last a really long time. And I think the really good purpose, you know, some of these insurance companies are getting more picky to where when you're doing hail or whatever, if you're scratching the backside of it, this may be a really good option. So I'm going to try it tomorrow. I'm going to let you guys know next week.
How fast did it take for that to dry?
Not long. Well, this is a lot. I mean, this is way more than what they show to put on. But like I said, I wanted to do it just to get it so you guys could see it online on here.
Wow.
But I mean, literally 2 minutes of maybe at the most of putting that light on there, and it just, you know, got hard. So Glexo Magic is coming. We're going to figure out this stuff works. And, you know, I mean, Glexo puts out some really good stuff. So
honestly, I'm blown away.
Their innovation, man, they're doing it.
Wow.
So
I'm blown away. Can't wait to get that.
You know,
wow.
I'm going to let you know tomorrow how it's going to work.
Yes. Hey, shout out to Pack in the house.
Oh, Pack's in here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Pack,
we got a lot of dudes in here.
Jeff. Shout out to everyone out there. Please share it, guys. Share it.
Yeah, share this thing. It just more guys to get to it. I posted in some different groups tonight just to see what it'll do, if it'll spring some fresh cookies in here. So let's get this thing going. I'm super excited about Sunday. It's our first, like in the county that my shop is in, has been closed for COVID. Even outside, we weren't allowed to have 20 or more people. So I'm connected to a detail garage, which is owned by Chemical Guys, and he's having his first like Cars and Coffee Sunday. So I'm super excited. We've been running around getting the shop cleaned up and
that's cool.
You know, getting it ready to go. So there'll probably be a lot of cars there. I mean,
that's awesome, man.
We have the police there, and it's going to be an epic day. You know, kind of a good little break in for the shop and say, hey, we're here, and you know, come on by because we're slammed anyway. But
we got Q in the house.
You know, and Danny's saying mask mandate. They just lifted our mask mandate as of Monday. So it's kind of a free world now. But I was saying this earlier. I was talking to Robert before the show. I said, times are really weird right now because it's some of my shops, you still have to wear masks. Like the Home Depots here, you have to wear masks, but there's no mask mandate. But some of my shops are not. So I told Deshane, I said, look, just wear the mask. Let's wear the mask for the next 2 weeks. Till we figure out who's wearing masks, who's not wearing masks. You know, today was like the first day I did some mobile. Yeah. So, you know, we get out of the truck, we're wearing the masks. And, you know, our first customer's like, are you vaccinated? You vaccinated? You don't have to wear the mask. You know, so I deal with a lot of government, a lot of military. So, you know.
You know what's funny though is that everyone was mad for wearing a mask, and now I feel people are mad that they don't have to wear a mask anymore.
Bro, it's right? America. They're all going to be mad either way you look at it. So it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's get him on here because we are running the time, man. This is going to be a tough show for 1 hour.
Yeah.
But let's
spring into legend.
What's up, Mr. Robert Castillo?
There he is.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey Robert.
Man, I really love the hey, how are you, Manny? That Glexo with the UV tripping it and hardening it with the UV light. That was pretty cool, man. I was zooming in, I was like, what the hell is that? I gotta have it, you know. It's one of those things. That actually is really cool. I mean, sometimes I use the Tessa tape if I can, but on those BD tips, of course, we have so many different options. But just on the fly, grabbing something on the fly, if you've just got to do it, that's kind of cool.
Now, my question for that product is, obviously I haven't used it, but you know where this would really excel, okay? It's hard enough, right? It's got some hardness to it. Mm-hmm. If there was a way to remove that without just using a knife, I haven't gone through all the directions and everything. If you could put that around the hole, right, and use that on the hole so you don't mess up around the hole and then remove that, that would be epic.
Right, because we still tape our holes up, to try to at least not compromise it as much as we can. But now with the hole straighteners, that was a new one with some of the techs that we started out with earlier this year. On our hoods, they would watch me spending a little extra time touching up the nuts, the bolts, and they're straightening the holes, and they're like, man, I guess I need to get a hole straightener. I'm saying, you guess? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You have to. You gotta have one if you're working here.
That hole straighteners saved my ass more than one time on different things.
They're great, and and I'm fortunate enough to be in a shop where the detailer, just has a wide variety of touch-up paint, setting on a shelf, and it doesn't have to be an exact match, honestly, in our case, because we just get something close that, just to the eye, where the human eye isn't going to pick up that little slight variance. So, as long as you're in there doing something with those holes after you bastardize them, so to speak, it makes a big difference. It does. It makes a huge difference. But, with the tape and all that, and maybe that product, who knows? Our industry is really staying on the cutting edge, on products.
Yeah, no doubt. And Alex here, from the Dent Hunters. I don't know if you've heard the rumor here. Alex from the Dent Hunters in Arizona has challenged Manny to take his first place trophy in the Dent Olympics. And he's asking you if you're competing in the Dent Olympics.
Oh, man.
I don't know if he's asking me. Well,
yeah.
I went through a couple of I went through a couple of things with the Dent Olympics, when we had it in Orlando, when everybody got sick a little over a year ago, and it wasn't that big a deal, and I'm not hammering them on it, but just the way the scorecards were done, because I requested an email with my scores, because I fixed a hell of a dent, and it came out extremely nice on a door, and I was very pleased, and so was some of the other people that were there looking at it. And it's not them, it's not the actual judging, but I did have 2 judges that scored me at 50%, my dent at 50%. And I just wanted to know, I wanted some answers. I'll be honest with you. I'm a very competitive person. I don't want just someone answering me in an email going, hey, man, they're industry leaders, that it is what it is. No, it's not what it is, because anybody that knows how to look in the light and look in a reflection, there was, that was a very, very clean pick on the last competition. But, I've talked to Kevin Bird and I've talked to Andrew Kinsey about that, and just letting them know, hey guys, if you play golf, I like the scores on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I don't want a judge coming in there, maybe he's hung over that day or something, whatever the case may be, or maybe he doesn't like me. I don't know. Maybe I dated his ex-girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Just things like that. So I just wanted more transparency. So to answer that question, I would love to compete again. I'm all about competing, but I'm all about transparency in anything that I do in this business. I want it transparent.
Yeah.
So,
and Alex is coming after Manny pretty good.
Though, Robert, for Alex, that's probably good news, because that would have been just more pressure onto him. So, Robert, I was saying earlier, just like, man, I say this respectfully, you're hell of a tech. You're a hell of a tech. I saw your dent that you did over at the in Missouri. What is it?
World
Cup PDR. I don't know if you remember, but I was there just watching over your dent, and I was just like, wow. I couldn't believe how clean that was, So
Well, and I appreciate it. You know, that rail was jacked up pretty good, those doors, and it's no big deal, guys. You got to understand, man.
It's fun.
I'm very competitive, and I looked at all the repairs with all the techs just like everybody else does. It's no different than having a tech in our shop. You know, that we need to go back and look at their work. I encourage people to look at the work, but there were some glitches in that scoring system as well, and I got the phone calls. You know, that people did let me know that. Yeah, it just whenever they're holding those competitions, like I told them, I said, look, man, it isn't for fun. It's fun, and let's keep it fun.
Yeah.
But let's keep it real.
Yep.
Okay, let's keep it very real in these competitions, and I'm very big on that. You know, because sometimes unbiased judges aren't unbiased.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll say that and say it out loud. You know, so that just in that case, somebody just forgot how to do math. when they put down the numbers on the scoring, because I got it. Someone took a snapshot of the sheet. You know, and I looked at the math and I went, wow, man, that's not even close to accurate. But hey, tell you what, will I compete again? Absolutely. So let's answer that question. Let's move forward, because I think that these guys are going to start. I think they're going to start to tighten up their game a little bit because I'll ask before I even pay the entry fee. I mean, I'll say, look, you know, I mean, I realize y'all are in a hurry to close this thing out when y'all got to get these rental cars back or whatever the case may be. However, the numbers have to be legitimate.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I looked at some repairs on some of the guys that walked away with the trophies, and I'm like, man, I can still see a lot of shim and the shingling ding dong in that dent, you know. But yet they walk away with a super high score. So I don't know, you know. I think that they should step into the digital age, and someone should walk in my opinion, a judge should walk in right then and score that dent, 3 of them. So there's no even numbers there, but I think 3 judges should walk up, look at the repair in all angles, like top, bottom, check for grain or texture, and put that score on, and then throw it on a digital leaderboard. That way, you know where they're at.
Just show it out there. I remember I told someone, it's just like, because I didn't play at the Missouri, you know, and I was just like, I just want to know if I was number 16, number 12, like, where am I? You know, but it's just like, it's unknown. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Hey Manny, Alex says,
it was.
Yeah, but
it was on a legal pad. It was on a legal pad, and there was just the math. There was no math. There was no good math on that legal pad, because I have a copy of it, and I know that.
He must have been from the East Coast, because us over here on the East Coast.
It was bogus as hell. but you know, that's okay, because I still support everything that PDR World Cup wants to do if they're going to do anything, because it's for the industry. So I have to move forward and look forward and say, hey, you know what? It's a learning experience. We all learn together. But let's just move forward, and I have to teach myself not to bitch about it.
Well, let's listen to Robert's story.
Yeah. So how long have you been in the industry?
Well,
or business is the word I'm going to say.
Oh man. So, okay. I started in the collision industry in 1981.
Wow.
So I was still in high school. Back then they had what was industrial cooperative training, or ICT, where you go to work half a day, go to school half a day, go to work half a day for the second half, and then trying to juggle all that in with sports, wrestling, and all that, because I really enjoyed that sport. It was tough.
Nice.
So I started sweeping floors in a body shop, and they could see that, you know, I could use a wrench, and they started moving me forward into this collision center, and it just grew from there. And that was from 81 to 91, and 91 is when I got into PDR. There was a training center in Dallas called Premier Technical Systems. So this November will be 30 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
how's that body holding up?
You see me, I'm sitting here rubbing my wrists and my joints, but you know, if I had the equipment like the hubbed tools where I can set my pitch, you know, on my hoods and deck lids, and angle those tools whenever I'm laying pressure on them, you know, if I had those tools 30 years ago, I probably wouldn't feel some of the aches and pains, but I can ignore those aches and pains when an estimate's written correctly and I get paid for my services, and then I start to realize my value. I quickly forget about the aches and pains while I'm working. I just stretch. I take care of myself. Physically. I see so many technicians that really need to spend a little bit more time, caring for their body, being careful what they put into it, and, stretch, do some things. These ergonomic tools that we have available to us today, guys, it's unreal. The lighting,
yeah,
man, when LED started coming to the forefront, I bought my first LED in 2008.
Wow.
And all the other guys in the shop that I was at or 09 rather, we were at a big hailstorm in Austin. They were all kicking cords, and they weren't even cordless. And so once we started getting into LEDs and doing it that way, it just made so many other things so much easier and the work a lot cleaner. You had the potential to really pick a clean dent and find the tip of your tool so much faster.
Do you think that was a really big transition in our industry when the LEDs really started to come out, or?
Massive.
Really?
That was a tsunami of change.
Wow.
Because then the tech became a lot more mobile, using cordless. What was it? The Ultras first. I think the Ultras came out first where they were cordless, but once we started getting into PDR solutions at that time, we're coming out, with a 2 or 3 strip light, and it made a big difference. Everybody shifted to that.
It's like HD television. I remember when I learned I'm an old Dent Wizard guy, and it was a board with a spray painted line down the center of it, and we used it on everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, sure.
The old cigarette lighter, little light, plug it in there. If that thing fell, it would shatter, and you would be done.
Man, I can't remember the technician's name, and I'm shameful for that. But in Vegas, the MTE Vegas, when Andrew had those Maximas or those Ultimas in there, and we had to pick 3 dents, I saw a tech use nothing but a line board, just a line board, and I'm like, holy crap! Look how clean! I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I got to shake this guy's hand. I couldn't remember his name, and I feel bad about that. But so a lot of it today just has to do, I think, with the ingenuity of the technician. We aren't, the difference between a master and a pro or a novice is that the masters know how to get themselves out of trouble, but that really doesn't make them any different. Because we will every now and then find ourselves getting ourselves in some trouble. Occasionally a tool might slip, or man, you got just the right leverage on it, and all of a sudden, bam, and you're like, crap. Yeah. You got to get in there and knock that down and fix it, and hope like hell you didn't crack any paint in the interim, but it doesn't happen often. But anybody that says it does, anybody that will tell you that it doesn't happen to them,
you're full of it.
Well, okay. Yeah. And I believe in Peter Pan too, so we're problem solvers, right? That's what we are, is we learn to become problem solvers, whether it's in R&I or whether it's in PDR, whether it's gauging the material that we're working on, guys. And like I said, an hour is just not enough, because there's so many different alloys in these metals and these steel, the steel and the high strength steel, ultra high strength steel, aluminum, and so many questions. And therefore that kind of brings us to a topic about when we're negotiating insurance claims. And I always tell them, look, I don't care what your computer says. The matrix is just a starting point. That's it. It just gives us something to work off of, but we have so many other things to go into, and then them wanting to pay us, cheap R&I time on headliners. I learned quite a few years back, how to fix that, and I simply tell them, I'm not pulling the headliner. I'm flat bedding it to the dealer. Dealers do that, and then they're going to flat bed it back to me with the windshield out of it or the back glass, because they're actually pulling the whole headliner out. Yeah. So you're not giving me 2 hours to do 2021 Suburban or Tahoe headliner. I can promise you that. You're not giving me $100 to pull a headliner.
Yeah.
You know, you might want to find some other dummy to do that for you, but that ain't happening here. And, you know, and then at that point, then we have a civilized conversation, because then they realize, damn, because I pull a tail light or I pull a headlight as soon as that vehicle comes in there and deem it undrivable.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so you see so many people, you see so many people getting themselves in a rat's nest going, they only give me an hour and a half on a headliner. Well, it's because you let them.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to deem that vehicle undrivable at that point where it has to go on a flatbed. And if they don't want to settle with you on proper R&I times, then put it on a flatbed, take it to the dealer, because then they have to pay the bill at that point. You know, because the owner of the car went to their dealer to, you know, send them where they need to go to have it repaired. So we immediately become the agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We become almost like their lawyer.
Yeah,
like
seriously.
I feel like with some of these adjusters lately, for me, obviously I'm not in a cat site, that the few that were out in the field for COVID, that they were so scared to do things because they were going to get in trouble. And I'm like, look, you know, some of the guys I've known for years, and they're like, look, I'm going to move this here, move that here. It's the same number.
Right.
It's just in a different place. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't care what the paper says. I care what that bottom line says. Just give me what the bottom line is. If you write it for Harry Potter and their wand, I don't care. Whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah.
But some of you guys,
point.
I mean, I hear nightmares of some of the cat sites that, and I'm like, man, I hope it doesn't happen here. You know, I don't know.
We got really fortunate. We got really fortunate in our state because, you know, I stay very involved with our legislature here in the state of Texas, and I make it a point to get involved with my state representatives. You know, you'll get some people that might tell you in the business that it doesn't matter what those laws are. None of that matters. Well, you know what? That's baloney. That's horse hockey, because it does matter. You know,
that is true.
We just passed House Bill 2534 that the Senate bill, it made it. We passed it on a right to a fair appraisal, meaning the owner of the vehicle, and especially in hail claims, if they feel like they're not getting a fair appraisal, we hope it never has to go to this, right, guys? But they can invoke their appraisal clause, and we can get a third-party adjuster that's licensed to come in as an umpire. So when someone tells you that we don't pay for that, we just don't pay for that.
Yeah.
Well, sure you do. You will eventually, because we'll find somebody that will differ with you, because your word is not the holy grail.
Yeah.
It never has been, and it never will be the holy grail of how we're going to arrive at a fair market value and a price.
Yeah.
You know? So it just, I think a lot of it has to do with attitude, and it has a lot to do with knowledge, because knowledge is power. And if you have knowledge in your industry, you know, and especially myself personally, having the collision center background, it doesn't hurt that I have some gray hairs and I have some collision center background, because I know that love language that adjusters recognize, that they're used to hearing from body shop managers and body shop owners. They're used to that language. And so when I start letting that language roll off the end of my tongue when we're in a negotiating situation,
and that's kind of the advantage, you know, that's the advantage. I've worked in a body shop before. Manny's had body shop background. That is a huge advantage on our end. For one,
yes, it is.
It changed my paintless dent repair game, because now I knew what it cost to blend a fender and repair the door. I knew the time that it was going to take. You know, we kind of have the edge. You know what I mean? So it's
well, correct. I think that's a great point, Ryan and Manny, because, you know, I think that if we have an opportunity, when the guys that are in the hail set, the technicians that are in the hail set, I would probably encourage them to, in their spare time, when they're doinking around in the wintertime or they're in their off season, to go ahead and get your adjuster's license. I haven't done it. I've been very fortunate, but in reality, in order to successfully negotiate a claim, if they give you any pushback, it helps if you do have an adjuster's license. Doesn't take that long to do it. I'm going to do it this fall, especially now since we are they've passed a law for the right to a fair appraisal. Then, I need to be able to know the laws that protect me and the things that I can and cannot say, because an adjuster can come in your shop, and if they start talking about certain things and they just start spitting out jargon off the end of their tongue, and we're not going to do this, and then they have to understand there's certain laws that lines that they're crossing when they begin to do that. So we as the repairer, I think, should be able to say, well, I have an adjuster's license as well, but what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to suggest, since we're not seeing eye to eye on this, we're just going to have client invoke the appraisal clause, because I've already educated them.
Yeah.
I educated them. I told them all about their options on their vehicle when they dropped it off. I mean, things that they didn't even know that this vehicle is capable of, with today being, it's a computer on 4 wheels. So, I like to educate the client up front and letting them know that these are possibilities of things that can happen. Hopefully it won't.
Yeah.
But if it does, I want you to know what your car is capable of, and the processes that have to take place in order to repair it correctly. So these are the things to come, guys. And a lot of it's already been here, and y'all know that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of technicians that are listening to this podcast are they know, they're like, well, things are changing, but every state's different.
Yeah, you kind of just answered Danny's question. Danny was asking, is it what did you think about PDR guys becoming appraisers or learning how to estimate cars? And I think you just answered that question perfectly there.
And it's also a selling tool. I think I use it knowing what it takes to paint a car door. Okay. I use that to my advantage, because I look at the customer while I'm estimating the car. We need to remove the belt molding, the mirror, the glass, the trim panel, the isolator. There's so much we have to remove. Yeah. That all adds up, so I think it's huge, Danny, if you can get some experience on that, because for me, it's been a godsend. It's been huge just to have that background.
Hey, Robert. And so
let's think about this real quick, and
go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I was just, I was going to say, not to backtrack too much, but you said, what year did you go to school for PDR?
In 1991 in Dallas, school. These pop-up schools started showing up really quick. It was Premier Technical Systems. It was $7,000 for 7 days. It was an introduction to PDR, and I was already body man, but back then everything was done under lock and key and behind a steel curtain.
Those are the years.
They wouldn't let you watch, and we had a hailstorm, and a dealership. One of our dealerships got hit in Dallas, and that's how I said, I'm in the wrong business. I need to get away from all the chemicals and the exposure and the noise, all the things that were bad. The body fillers back then had a lot of asbestos in them. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some repercussions at some point, due to the exposure that I had to certain chemicals, because we were washing our hands with lacquer thinner. I mean, you think about that, but I got in it back then, and I was fortunate that I was at a dealership where our used car department they brought vehicles in from the auction every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so I got to work on all that inventory and botch it up, and do the best I can. I mean, everything it was a struggle, 7 days, $7,000. Today, you got these technicians that will go in and, they'll shadow underneath somebody else, and they think that they got it down in 6 months, which I don't know, man. There's some naturals that are pretty good at it after 6 months, but I feel like 2 years with somebody on an apprentice program, I think we're talking. But just throwing them out there and showing them how to, take a punch and pop a hole, and hey, let's throw this board up there, and let's because the trainer's going to put a few of those dents in some easy spots, unless you start doing the advanced training type things where, the Bryce Kelly's type stuff. Kudos to you, Bryce, by the way. When they go in and put complicated damage on edges, complicated damage, multi-dimensional damage on body lines and crowns and stretched metal, then you know what? That's, hey, you got guys that have been doing it 15 years ago and pay these guys
Hey,
what they're worth.
I would pay Bryce right now, and
For
I've been in it
advanced
20
training.
years. For 20 years, I would go ride with Bryce. You know what I
Damn
mean?
right.
Just for two little tips. I'll go
yeah.
from 5 days. If I take two little things from that, I'm good, because
Yep.
whatever
Well,
he's doing, I'm not doing.
He's very ingenuitive, you know, and there's another gentleman, and I'm probably not going to get his name right, but I've been taking note of what he's doing. He goes by Kent Clark, or Clark Ken, something like that. He's out on the West Coast. He's got a ton of stuff on YouTube. I noticed that he'll give Kiko their fair due when he puts up his post. However, I look at the tabs that he's using, and the majority of it is, and he knows that I'm right, is Cam Auto. You see, so there's Big League Dent Repair, and then there's other companies that they have tabs. The Man of Steel, that's right, Jeff Hughes. Thank you,
I
Jeff.
know who you're talking about.
Yes, this guy right here, and because he obviously he has to have some body man background, because you know, on some of my big damage that I do, I use a lot of tension tabs where I'm actually stretching, pulling this way while I'm pulling this way, and then and then holding tension, doing multiple pulls while I'm doing my crown work. See, that's old school body man stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that type of metal bumping or metallurgy isn't taught to a brick and mortar shop owner or someone that's out in the mobile stuff, or they're demanding top dollar for their repairs, then, you know, if they haven't been taught that, they're not going to know any better. So what's their first inclination is to go in and just push, you know, pad up a tip, put a lot of padding on it, you know, do some glue pulling straight out, not holding tension, not working crowns while they're doing all this. So, you know, that's what I watch that he does, and that's day one stuff for body men, right?
Yeah.
Making multiple pulls straight. It's real common sense, right? Here it is. Look, I can do this right now. You fold a piece of paper just like that. All right, so that's a piece of metal that's bent right here in the center. Well, you don't grab it here and unfold it like that. You pull it out like that to unfold it.
Yeah.
So it's no different. It's no different for sheet metal or whatever substrate that you're working with. And that's something that technicians have to remember, is they've got to get themselves set up with equipment. If they're going to start trying or making an attempt to tackle that type of damage, then they're going to have to go through a learning curve.
Yeah.
You know, and they need to be taught to make their job easier and work and get that type of damage moved in half the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that big damage, I mean, I'll admit it, some of the damage that I've posted, some of those dents take 8 to 10 hours, maybe a little less. You know, I've gone into the next day just going in and touching up, you know, finishing stuff with my rods and whatnot. But, you know, there's some very talented technicians out there. There's one that just popped up here, Manny Quintero. The guy,
man.
Crazy good, man. But but he understands those principles, and I wish we had more time to talk about that stuff, guys. But that's why I love Cam Auto. That's why I carry it everywhere I go. I have body shops.
How did you get involved with Cam Auto? How did you get hooked up with Charles?
I walked by his booth at MTE Orlando, and he stopped me and said, "We need to talk." And I said, "Okay, I'm always willing to listen." And his principles, a lot of my principles apply to his principles on metal, moving a lot of metal quickly and effectively without bruising it. He's more for the collision side, though.
Yeah.
He's not a lover of PDR. And he's told me that. He goes, I don't care about PDR. I said, you will someday when more and more PDR technicians start using your equipment.
Yeah.
I said, so you might want to slow your roll a little bit. I said, I know you're all about, you know, just pulling it out and popping it out and throwing your shoulder out of socket with those slide hammers. And I don't know why guys do that. Some of that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, when you see these, there's I think another new guy that's trying to come into the collision end of it. And you just see him wailing with these slide hammers, just bam, bam, bam. bam. And I'm going, man, you are an idiot. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to your wrist? Why are you doing that to your elbow?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that to your shoulders? What is wrong with you?
Yep.
When you can simply hook up a bridge puller, a pulling apparatus on that, and just take your impact and work that metal out. Hold tension on it while you're working your crowns, and it just makes your work look so much better. But anyway, I get it. They're trying to sell tools, right? So it's shock value. But guys,
Robert, do you prefer to take a hail card for repairs, or would you rather take like a big dent, collision dent to work on? If you had an option, hail car or big dent car?
Okay, Manny, that is a really great question. Hail cars have a tendency to, if the damage is good and you're in the right hailstorm, hail cars have a tendency to throw some real money in the bank real quick. So let's just be honest about that. But big smashers can, but it's just not as consistent. You have to work, in my opinion, you have to work it much harder at slicking that surface out and getting that repair to look as close as possible to pre-loss condition. For those that really, really care about it and they don't want any flickers in it. But I will say this. Every smash repair that I've ever done and have done, there's always going to be a little Picasso in there. There's going to be a little signature somewhere that you've been there. I don't care who you are. Now, some of it is so undetectable that only we can find that, right?
Yeah.
But there's always something in there. And so that's the ones that strive to really do their best. And let's just throw an example out there. You got $1,000 door repair and the door has to come off the car. Then, and you got the R&I factored in, you've got all the PR money factored in. I love that type of damage. I just do, because for me, it's a personal satisfaction. And then I know that I can push the envelope. So I know what my abilities are. I can tell by looking at that damage out on the drive through experience that I can turn that around most likely. I always give them the clause that if the paint cracks or something happens, you're probably going to have to spend a little bit of the savings that you saved from taking it to a body shop to begin with to apply that to paint, blending, or whatever. But that, that might happen to me once or twice a year. And I'll just be honest, I do have my failures. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen a couple times a year on average.
Yeah.
But I like them both, Manny. I do, man. I love doing smash repairs. Because it amazes me sometimes, especially if you're utilizing the equipment that's available to us today.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
the game has changed.
Good. Finish. I cut you off.
Go ahead.
You finish.
No. I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
No, this is all about you.
This is Robert's show.
It's all you.
Yeah. Well, this is good stuff. What I'm seeing again, with the glue pull game, the types of glues that are out there, everybody has their favorite glue, right? I mean, I have companies that send me different glues. Hey, try this, try that. Okay. And during the winter, I will. I won't do that during hail season. Don't send me the best, the biggest, the baddest, whatever glue. Every now and then I'll try a little bit of a different tab, and I did find some tabs that are from overseas that are pretty freaking amazing for hail. But they just don't want to push their product here in the U.S. very well because they don't understand business. If you want to get your tabs out there, you're going to have to get your tabs in the right hands.
What's your go-to glue?
Any tab company. My go-to glue. Is that what you just asked me?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Putting him on the spot now. Look at that.
Cam Auto Collision Glue.
Yeah. You use that for hail.
My go-to glue is Cam Auto Collision Glues because. Oh God, yes, and it's because of the speed and the accuracy. But I will say this: I have been field testing a different glue because another manufacturer did say, "Hey," and it looks really close. But I have been field testing it, but I've been field testing it more so for the collision stuff, and I'm finding that it's extremely comparable. But for right now, Cam Auto is my go-to. It'll take those centers, those pits on really bad damage, big hail, and I'm talking like the kind of hell that's on reinforcements, man, and it moves metal nice, smooth, and it does it very consistently without failed pulls, because failed pulls are a waste of time, a big waste of time. You know, when you've got that heavy duty tab or whatever tab you're using and it's set, and you get, you're either going to use your little slide hammer. I'm not talking about that big one you see these guys on YouTube doing, but I'm talking about, just a regular slide hammer or your mini lifter. I like consistency. I want something that's going to perform. And if it's high performance and it's going to perform, I'm going to use it. And the same applies to tabs. Absolutely 100%, no doubt, man.
Now, my question to you is, how do you prep? So if you have a customer come in, you need to glue pull it. Do you give them the disclaimer of there is a chance you can pull the paint? How do you explain that to the customer?
Well, I just educate them on the two options that we have. We have the very expensive option. If I can get to that dent, I'm going to have to tear all of this out. This is what it's going to cost to give us a higher percentage of a turnaround on that repair. However, we do have another option of glue pulling. And if we're going to do that, and I can still see that you have your factory paint intact, things do happen with glue pulling, because you have a panel that I've got to warm up, and then I got to set a tab on it. And sometimes there is failure because some of these clears just cannot handle that kind of pressure. So either the clear or the base coat will break loose. So if that's the case, then I'm just going to stop where I'm at, and I'm not going to take that money from you, and you can just use that towards a conventional repair. I feel like, look, even if I spend 45 minutes of my time on it, then that's okay. I spent my time on it, but I learned something from it. So there's certain vehicles, there's certain types of vehicles and Nissans and certain Hondas out there that, man, some of their clears, especially on tri-coats, that clear is you gotta be careful. So
got a question for you.
I try to use,
It says, Den Hunters, Alex is asking, would you ever want to hunt coos deer, and do you like the pink glue?
I would love to hunt coos deer for sure. And the pink glue, I've used it a little bit, enough to convince myself that I don't like it.
Yes.
Hey, Robert, and you watching the industry just kind of transition from one thing to another, like when the LED came out, how was it watching it when the glue pulling system came in?
For me? Okay, so you're asking me how was it for me in that transition? Let me tell you, that's another great question, because that happened to me in the year 2000. I was in Duluth, Minnesota, and a Worth rep came through my shop with the Worth kit, and he came and it had denatured alcohol on the kit, but it had some really tabs that really held up. In fact, I
still have
one
some.
or two of those handy for certain situations, right?
Yeah.
So I remember there was my brother being one of them. He had just came out of training with me. He was one of those prodigy techs that 6 months he's like, man, I got this. So he immediately went to work with Rick Kierstead in Pars. I remember calling him one night, and I said, hey, Ron, man, the days of drilling holes up around those rails and doing fishing wires and doing things like that through the antenna holes, man, those days are over. And I told him about glue pulling. He goes, yeah, well, you know what? There's a sucker born every day. You're telling me that you're pulling dents with glue? Yeah.
I remember cutting
well,
those tabs.
Buddy,
cutting those Worth tabs, the little crease tabs, and
yeah. Mm-hmm. I
Terrible.
already knew how to knock down metal, but then I just converted over and just kept refining myself and just learning how to blend, because we blended with knockdowns back then. Still do from time to time, but my sole purpose for blending hammers is getting myself away from my work where I'm not doing it at a short distance, and a lot of people fail to mention that when they start talking about so many different blending hammers. Why do you have one that's this long? Why do you have one that's that long? Whatever that case may be. And I say, well, it's because it's It's designed to get me away from my work to finish it out and turn out a nice product. You know, because if you're right in front of your work and your light's really close to you, I'm sorry, but you're leaving a lot of junk in your work. You know, and so that's, again, getting back to the question that you asked me, Manny. It was a huge learning curve, but you know, as we got exposed to more and more technicians, and back then in 2000, after the hot glue kits came out, it wasn't a lot of them just didn't want to accept it. It's like anything else, you know. Change is very difficult for a lot of people, and sometimes they've got to get that mindset that, you know what, these other guys work when I walk by it, because techs look at other techs work. I don't care who 100%. They are.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and you can walk by it. You can walk by a technician and you can look at their work and go, man, that's nice. And then some of it you can walk by it and just go, God, mighty, you know. And I kind of feel for those ones that I get it. You know, the wholesalers, whenever I bring in techs that just came off a wholesale gig, and I don't give a damn how good they are, but when they just bust in and they come into the shop and they just came off of a big rail yard deal, and then they want to come into the shop and go to work, I'll always have to recalibrate them.
Yeah. Now
I do. I'm like, whoa. You know,
what is your thought? Do you think some of that is pride in their work, or do you think it's just they know they can only make so much and it really doesn't matter?
Hey man, there's a lot of them that will tell you that they're going to go to those wholesale gigs all day long because they can get away with what they get away with. And some of those wholesale gigs, you know, they do have to, you know, do the work as good as possible, but yet they're still going to try to fly through it. You know, that's how they get paid. When they're making $400 a car, and they're $3,500 cars or $4,000 cars. That's why when they come to work with us sometimes, and they begin to, sorry guys that I have to say this, but when they begin to bitch, you know, when they're making what I consider good money, but it's just an opinion. But then, you know, I look at them and go, look, that's a $7,000 car you're on. You know, you're at 50% commission. You're getting $3,500. I've seen you fix cars like that all day long for $400. Why are you bitching?
Yeah.
You know, and I got one after another in front of you, man. So, you know, when I start getting that cancer, when that cancer starts to come around me in the shop, in fact, I don't care how good they are. If they bring cancer to the shop, I'll tell you right now, they're replaceable.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, I might have to coax somebody to stop what they're doing and come from somewhere else to come. But once they start walking around and talking to other techs because they just want to create a cancer, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out, 100% out.
And Robert, so
I know the ones that might be watching.
Yeah. Robert, so do you have a shop, or do you do retail, or you just focus on hail, or
Right now, I just focus on hail because I live in a hail-prone state. I did work for a retail shop in San Antonio. I gave it 2 years. I gave it 2 solid years, and I feel like I did the best I could to promote his business. In fact, that's sort of where I started the Facebook thing and putting all these repairs, because we had those repairs in front of us. But just as time changes, as economics change, so do the percentages. Except those percentages just kept changing pretty rapidly along with these admin fees. You know, and when those things started coming on, and the guy started going, you know, hey, you know, I know I was there, and it's just, I get it, man. Brick and mortar, it costs a lot of money to operate that. So I think a lot of that has to do with how the owner sets up the business plan, and that the owner should get those facts out up front. Don't wait till I'm 13 cars into it, you know, before you drop that shit sandwich on me, expect me to eat that shit sandwich, you know. And so anyway, I chase hail because then it allows me more leverage to make better choices on the economics of my business. You know, I can gauge and set better goals that month on how I want to feed my bank account, plus do the right thing to the car. So there's a very fine line there. But But I do a lot of work with my brother Ron. The account that we have here in McKinney, it's called The Body Shop. I've got a 40-year relationship with this shop. So I used to do body repairs for them before. I moved to Austin. My brother took over this account, so this is all him, and I'm here working under his umbrella.
Nice.
You know, he doesn't treat me any different. He doesn't treat me any different than he does anybody else. In fact, I probably get treated a little worse than most people.
It's that brother love.
Oh man, you know, I that's for sure. Anybody that's worked with us knows that. Yeah, man, he runs a really tight ship, and he wants things done a certain way. You know, even if it's white, but he says it's black, then I'm a yes sir, boss, it's black. You know.
What's your predictions for our industry right now?
My predictions for our industry right now is a couple of things, guys. Tools and equipment is swiftly evolving to not only make our jobs easier, but also to try to keep up with the lack of increase in our prices. Because, you know, I had a discussion today with an adjuster in particular that, you know, just trying to play a little hardball with me. And I said, whoa, you know, let's just stop for a minute. I can't even go buy a sheet of plywood for less than $120, right? Gas, as you have seen, is swiftly going up. Everything has gone up because of this whole COVID thing. And I you know, I've been eating your junk for the last 21 years, and I'm not doing it anymore. You know, we're just going to have to figure something out. If you're telling me this is all you're going to pay for PDR, then no, we're running through the body shop and we're just going to let them conventional it, because you can't pay me enough money to make sense to even do it this way, because everything has gone up exponentially economically in this whole United States, except you. And you expect me to take what you call an industry standard? Really? What makes you the expert on what the standard is for this industry? You're going to have to tell me what your credentials are. You know, tell me what your background is before you and I can even have an intelligent conversation on how much to charge for damage.
What'd he say?
You know, and that usually stops him.
Yeah.
Went and talked to his boss, figured some things out, came back, and like Ryan said earlier, that bottom line was copacetic with what I had written to begin with. You know, because it is what it is. I'm not trying to cause highway robbery here or anything, but let's be realistic. So I have to keep them realistic and remind them that everything has gone up.
Yeah.
Everything. And they know it too. You know, services, you know, everything's gone up because of the lack of people out there willing to go to work.
Yeah.
You know, so we pay more for products. Goods, my tennis shoes have doubled in price.
Oh yeah.
But you still want to pay me this.
I just recently bought a new car, and on that thing it said tire fee. I'm like, tire fee? He goes, yeah, we have to pay because to recycle your tires. I'm like, this is a brand new car. What are we talking about a tire fee for?
Yep.
And he goes, 2021.
Right.
I was like, go figure.
Guys, I apologize. I truly apologize for taking up so much time. At number two, let's do things. And what I had mentioned about the automobile manufacturer and how swiftly these cars are changing and have changed, you know, from 2015 to 2021, just 6 years, these cars have become really intricate.
Yeah.
So we are in an app world today. When I'm looking for something or I want services, what's the first thing I do? I go to my handheld, pizza. I'll put pizza in for just something that's in my proximity, or I have an app. And so when the consumers today are buying an automobile during F&I, they're letting them know, hey, you need to go ahead and let me have your phone. I'm just going to download the app for you. And that's where I think it's going. I could be wrong, but I have a really strong inkling of knowing that in today's consumer world, they're looking to just touch an app, and then that's going to connect them with an advisor at a dealership that is close to them when they sustain any kind of damage, whether it's bumper cover, whether their clear bra got scratched, you know, whether a rocker panel molding came off or they had a flat tire, and they, you know, there's going to be so many different things that they're going to go to in that app, and then that app is going to shift them to someone who is certified in their area to work on that car. And it may not be the dealer, because a lot of dealerships have gotten away from having collision centers.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the bastard child. It's a bastard child of the franchise. And, you know, when you're looking at a net profit in a body shop on average of being anywhere from 9 to 11.5% after all bills are paid, for dealers, it's not even worth them dealing with, right? So then whenever we show up and we offer to pay them the rent that we do just to shuffle the paperwork and wash the car at 30%, that's a pretty big, hefty net. So it helps also for technicians to know these margins. You know, their gross margin might be this, but their actual net and their payout is this. So my quick advice to any of these techs that want to go out and land a body shop, if you can speak that language and you know what their doc sheet looks like at the end of the month, and you know their profit loss statements because you've been in the business, it puts you on a completely different level with them when you go to talk business with them. And a lot of PDR techs they don't even have a clue what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
You know, but when you have that knowledge about what a collision center runs and what they look to end up with after the light bill's been paid and the uniforms have been paid, everything's been paid, they don't end up with a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and education is
that's
key.
where I think it's headed. I think that knowledge is power. Always has been. And, you know, so I think that's where it's headed. You know, guys, people can still go out there and set up their retail and get their hands on vehicles, newer vehicles or whatever. But, you know, there's going to be some failures in there, even though there's pre-scan and post-scan and all those things are available. Fine. But what are you doing to recalibrate? You know, are you bringing your ADAS system with you everywhere you go? Are you even putting that on your estimate?
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I was going to ask.
I mean, that's something.
Do you think that we are in a stage where PDR guys need to have a computer system to read faults, clear faults in vehicles?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I'm fortunate that the body shop that we're with, they do all that for us. So they have their pre and post scan on there. And then let's say a windshield's cracked with the hail, the windshield has to be replaced, and the glass guy comes out and R&R's a windshield. And they just go ahead and put the eyesight back in there, you know, and then the glass guy's gone. Well, you know, that vehicle still has to be recalibrated because those forward-facing cameras, even if you put a fingerprint on one of those forward-facing cameras, it has to be replaced. You know, you spray it with glass cleaner. Anything foreign gets on that forward eyesight camera lens, it needs to be replaced. But how many glass guys know that? How many PDR guys know that if they have to sublet that out? I'm hoping more than less, but again, I think that at some point we're going to start. What's going to help us as a business is if you take the time to go through these training classes with the OEM. It's going to cost money. It's going to take time, but you know, going and getting your Toyota certification for R&I procedures or R&R procedures. You know, just having that under your belt, man, and having it in your shop and knowing that you have that's something that you can add to your advertising campaign when you have your scan barcode or whatever on your business card. I think that your client these days should be able just to take a look at that real quick with their cell phone and just see what you're all about.
Yeah.
You know, and know what you've been through and know where your credentials are. And I think that also helps with insurance adjusters. You know, when you say, look, man, it's hard for you and I to sit here and come to the brass tacks on this claim because you're not even qualified to have this conversation with me. And let me tell you why, because here's my credentials. Where are yours?
Yeah.
You know, and if you have that proof, like on ARC, Ryan, you brought up the ARC thing, you know, which I'm not giving a plug for ARC because people that want to be certified through ARC, that's a self thing. They come to us. We don't come to them. They come to us. You know, when they want that kind of accreditation, but you know, but we also supply that a scan code or QR code or whatever if they would like to have it, and it shows your profile. You know, so those are good things to have, no matter what. Whenever you're having a conversation with somebody, or you know, if you just happen to kind of butt heads with someone and they want to argue with you, you can remove that from the conversation. That just removes the emotion from all of it.
That's what I was just going to ask, Robert. So I know we already knew that we were going to go over time, but just if you could just tell us real quick. So how did the ARC come together with you?
Well, ARC began with an author, and it was written by a couple of guys. And I could stand to be corrected, but I'm thinking it's Joe Stonich and David Haxton. So in the beginning, it was just for Dent Smart. In the beginning, I mean, for like the first 10 years, it was exclusive to Dent Smart, franchisees, and employees only. And then it came to a point where, look, there's so many other technicians in the country, I think, that would like to be vetted, verified. But how do you do that? So we had to figure out a way, and that's sort of where I became involved with David Haxton. I saw ARC starting to show up on social media, and I said, well, what's that? I mean, it's like somebody threw a teaser out there, and I bit, I'm like, wow, what's that? And so I asked Clifton Atkins about it, and he goes, well, for hail, you need to have, at least 3 people that have worked with you and have seen your repairs and know that you can take a car from start to finish, bumper to bumper on your own, and do it consistently and do it right, as close to humanly possible, right? At least make it look nice, sellable, because at the end of the day, what really matters is what our customer thinks. Yeah. So I asked him about that. So for that, to me, was a no-brainer. But I asked him, I said, well, man, I've been around a long time. I'd like to be certified. He goes, doesn't matter. I've never worked with you. I can't certify you. I mean, I can't vouch for you, Robert. You're going to have to find some other people that are known in the business that can verify. So that was no problem. I got that done because I was asking these questions overnight. Now, I started seeing a gold master certification, and I'm like, well, what's that? And these were these incredible repairs, these smashers, and I'm like, God almighty, those look great, but I've got a whole library of those. I want to be that too. So I sent David Haxton like 3 quick before and afters and some on video, and he immediately came back to me. He goes, dude, you're a no-brainer. And I'm not saying that, guys. You understand I'm a very humble person. But David, he looked at the befores and afters and goes, man, how can I argue with that? And so he gave me my gold master, and then eventually talked to me more and more about it, about becoming more involved with it and being able to qualify some of these repairs. Because believe you me, I will tell you right now, there's a whole lot of technicians that want their gold certification, but they're good, but you know what I mean? They need more time.
Yeah.
To get there. And so more of them do not make it than the ones that do make it.
That's what I was just going to ask. Is there a lot of people
that do not go?
Is there a lot of techs that you guys haven't certified, like Dent Hunters or Alex?
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt about that, man. And that's the part about that position that I was in at the time. That was the part that I didn't want to do. I didn't mind. I love the happy part when I get to send a guy a personal message, and say, man, you made it, dude. You're just legit. We love your repairs. Yeah, here you go. And I start sending them their digital plaques before they get their actual physical plaque. And that was the fun part. That was the fun part of me volunteering for ARC, because, they've never, that's all voluntary. I didn't want a penny, don't need a penny out of that. That's something that I just wanted to be involved in. And
Robert reached out to me and said, Robert said, you're not going to make the cut. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I feel sometimes for some guys, I say, you're certifiable. I'll tell them, you're at a certifiable level, but you're not at a master level yet.
Yeah. Hey, Robert, sorry, Ryan, there's something that I really admire about you, and that is the relationship that you have with your best friend. And I'm talking about your wife.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking Ryan if she was going to join you on the show today, but he said that, you were on the road. It's just like, you know, that, like I said, that's something I really admire about you, that, you know, the relationship that you have. How's it been for a busy guy like yourself?
Oh man, you know, it's like anything else. It presents its share of challenges. You know, if she's at home in the Austin area and I'm 3.5 hours away here up north in McKinney, you know, when big thunderstorms are rolling through, she gets scared. You know, but I'm like, hey, girl, you got a pit bull, snuggle with the dog. You know, and she's like, well, it's just not the same. It has its fair share of challenges, but what we have learned to do is to manage our time. You know, when we
Mm.
start edging towards each weekend and I'm only 3.5 hours from home, let's say I've got to put in a half day or three-fourths of a day on a Saturday, then she'll just drive up. She'll load up the dog. We'll find a hotel that's dog friendly, and she'll just come up and we go enjoy good food, enjoy some good wine, find wineries or whatever in the area, things like that we like to do. Because she's a chef, so the culinary end of it is one of my favorites, and I love to cook too. And so we have that in common. We just make it work, man. It
That's
has
awesome.
its fair share of challenges, especially and it can too. You know, with the temptations on the road. You know, there's so much of that's out there, and you just got to steer clear of danger. You know,
Yeah, stay focused.
yep,
What I
stay
want to
away
do,
from it.
Robert, and hopefully you agree to this. I like to do a part 2 of this show in the next few months because I think there's so much more information I want to get out here to these guys. Still about you, about the industry, and if you're down for that, I would love to. Because if not, we're going to be here for the next 3 hours, and it's going to be a
Yeah,
fantastic show.
right. Well, we're losing. I'm sure we're losing viewers by the
Oh
however many
no,
there might be.
no, we're going
Yeah.
strong and strong. So.
Good, good,
But
good.
like I
Well,
said, I would love to bring you back on for part 2 of this conversation.
okay,
I think it's valuable for a lot of the people in here. We have like 58 people watching. So, you know,
nice.
I think it's worth it.
Well, hey, everybody out there that's watching it, man, you know, just share this, and surely this video, I guess, can be rewatched or reviewed.
Facebook and
You
YouTube
know,
and
well, yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Well, you know, that's great. I'm glad you guys had me on today. Sorry that I kind of
Robert,
took
come
up
on.
most of the
Stop saying
conversation.
sorry.
I really apologize.
Stop saying sorry.
All
You
right.
you're giving out some
Well,
really good
I
information.
appreciate, I appreciate y'all's time.
Are you going to MTE Vegas?
I'm 95, 98% there. You know, God willing, and the creeks don't rise, I'll make it for
All
sure.
right.
Wouldn't miss it
Well,
for anything. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, there's so much more, guys, that we need to talk about too. You're gonna see there's a myriad of new products that are going to be hitting the market in the maybe not the near future. It's going to take a little time. There's going to be some products that'll be hitting the market that are going to be deemed fantastic. You know, this industry is changing so fast, and you know, I do have some knowledge even with Cam Auto. There's some stuff that's coming out that's pretty badass,
I can
and
tell you
with
one
other
thing, that
companies as well.
that tab saver is amazing. It hasn't got a lot of love, but that tab saver from Cam Auto has saved my back. It's crazy.
You know, I haven't done a video on that yet. So, you know, I've been asked by Cam Auto, you know, hey Robert, you know, you've got the product in your hand. What do you think about it? I would like it more away from production hell, because it's just so much easier for me to set my thumb on that little notch, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
wrap my hand around that slide hammer at the base of it. Once you know, when I've got 10 tabs set or 8 tabs or however many they're set, you know, I just like to slip that slide hammer on there, just boom, boom, you know, boom, and just slip them off, throw the tab in my car. You know, as expensive as these 10-cent little products are that it costs them to make, I don't like them hitting the floor, you know,
yeah.
but they charge an awful lot of money for those tabs these days. They're very proud of these tabs.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just think the breakable ones, the ones that are very breakable, they should work on that price just a little bit. But that's just me. I had to throw that in there. Damn, they want some, I mean, come on. Come on, guys.
I appreciate you coming on, and let's definitely get together and get a date set for your part 2 of this conversation, because I think it's 100% valuable.
Yeah, we have a lot more we could talk about, guys. Thank you for having me.
Robert, thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Robert.
And thank you to all our viewers that took the time out of their evening. You know, the viewers that took the time out of their evening to come in and just spend some time with us and listen and absorb just a little bit of information in such a short period of time. You know, I'm sure you got better things to do, you know, with your family, and maybe put a good movie on or do something else besides listen to some dent guys talk. But you know what? It's for the industry.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Robert. Have a fantastic evening.
Have a great night, Robert.
Have a great evening, guys. Thank you.
See you.
Man, let me tell you, if it wasn't,
I could keep going.
If it wasn't 10:30 at night here, it would be. We would go on for another 4-hour show again.
I had more questions for Robert. It's just
we're gonna do it. We're gonna plan it. Maybe next month we'll just bring him on and get another run on it, because like I said, I really feel like we just kind of scratched it a little bit.
Yeah,
I enjoy his conversation, and he's very educational, and his explanation of exactly a lot of this stuff is really, really good. So it's totally happening. It's totally happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that was awesome,
dude. You have a great night. Thanks for joining me.
Thank for everyone watching.
Yeah, we had some good numbers in here. A lot of good comments and some shares, and it was good. Tired.
Get some rest, Ryan.
Have a fantastic night, Manny. You guys keep it real. Get ready for next week, because it's going to be a banger. Number 100. Manny, you're joining me. You're joining me again next week.
Let's do it.
It may be a different place, maybe a little different place this time. So
there you go.
You know,
there you go.
We're gonna do a little something different next week. So you guys, we're gonna be popping some bottles too. So it should be a good show.
And I think you should let different people just come on the show and just join and congratulate you.
You know what I'm gonna do? I think that's what we're gonna do. You guys, if you guys want to come on and chat for 5 minutes, send me a message.
Yeah,
we'll do a little call in again, and if you don't want to do video, we don't have to do video. We can do the call in. And hey.
So send your phone number or email to Ryan, and you can have all that ready. That'll be fun.
Nobody wants to come. It'll just be me and you. It's okay.
Oh, there you go.
Nobody likes this show, you know.
Yeah. Stop it, bro.
All right, buddy. You have a fantastic night. You guys keep it real, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
See you.